emotional. Why? Because I'm standing here because of these two um, people, the great people of our country. So I'm very, very thankful and very emotional, very overwhelmed right now. So today I'm covering, because I'm teaching subject public administration, which I loved, because public administration is everywhere, wherever you go. It's like oxygen in the air. We taught like this to our students in the class. So today I am going to speak on Ambedkar Jayanti, reimagining public administration for social justice. So today on Ambedkar Jayanti, we gather to honor the life and legacy of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, a scholar, a jurist and social reformer, all of us know, who did not just frame the Constitution of India, but also quietly laid the foundations of new understanding of subject public administration in our country. As a teacher of public administration, I would like to use this occasion to reflect on what Ambedkar means for our disciplined public administration and how his ideas can help us reimagine public administration as genuinely an instrument of social justice. Dr. Ambedkar is widely remembered as the principal architect of Indian Constitution, all of us know. He chaired the drafting committee, and it was under his leadership these values all of us, young generation, should follow. Values of justice, liberty, equality and fraternity were embedded into the very structure of Indian state. But beyond the constitutional role, he was a sharp critique of social hierarchy. The hierarchy which you are seeing, you must have felt somewhere in your life, being a student, being a scholar, or being a even faculty member, from your school to college to university, wherever you go, you must have felt how this social hierarchy is embedded and how it discriminates in certain points in your life, in certain steps. So he was a sharp critique of social hierarchy, caste oppression, and the limitations of purely political democracy without social and economic transformation. For him, if democracy is only about voting, it remains a facade. It may look real democracy on the surface, but it may not be truly democracy in practice. Real democracy has to touch the everyday life of the weakest, the poorest, and the most excluded. This is where Ambedkar becomes deeply relevant for public administration. For many, public administration is seen as a set of rules, regulations, and procedures for implementing government programs. But Dr. Ambedkar challenges us to see it as something more. He invites us to view administration as a moral and political project oriented towards social justice. He believed that state can't remain neutral. It must actively intervene to dismantle caste-based exclusion. This is very relevant line. Today we have seen in the news that how in Haryana one of the IPS officer committed suicide because of caste discrimination. How in our country, in the Supreme Court, Chief Justice of India attacked by another community. These are the latest news, the latest happenings in front of all of us. We are seeing it. So we are standing. What we are fighting for? What society we are living for? These are all questions as a student, as a PhD scholar, you should research on where we are going. So he believed that state can't remain neutral. It must actively intervene to dismantle caste-based exclusion, to protect the rights of minorities, and to ensure that historically marginalized communities have real access to power and opportunity. One of the most important legacy of Dr. Ambedkar for my discipline, public administration, is the idea that administration must be both professional and socially inclusive. I always teach to my students in the class inclusivity, inclusiveness. But this word I felt is very difficult for me itself. I belong to Jammu and Kashmir. First time when I went to JNU, I saw the things, the original things. I saw students so energetic, vibrant, oh my god. I was like, where I was? Huh? Where I was not knowing these personalities. I never studied in the school, colleges. First time I think we studied BhimRao Ambedkar in our master's class when I was studying MA in Public Administration from Central University of Jammu. So we start with Woodrow Wilson, Henry Ford, this and that. So at the end, the two thinkers were mentioned. One was Kotalia, obviously, and the second, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. I don't remember whether it was taught us to in the class or not, but in the books, it was the thinker B.R. Ambedkar administration, like what B.R. Ambedkar has said about administration in our country. So then I came to know, okay, B.R. Ambedkar is there, one of the administrative thinker, but that time also not studied deeply or much thing about him, like who is he, what he has contributed to my life or to the others' life. When I went to JNU in the year 2016, I got admission there. Then I saw the posters on the walls. I really miss those walls of JNU here in MZU. I really wish that the walls of MZU are also filled with those posters, those slogans. I really miss, and the energy, the vibration among students for these personalities and for other personalities whosoever who did a revolution for our country. So then like I also felt at that time, yes, I need to read, I need to know more about these personalities. Because of them I am in GNU, or I am here standing in front of you at Mizoram University. So I give my all credit to these people in my life, obviously my parents also, but these people really made me what I am today in front of you. So in subject to public administration, he didn't oppose efficiency or merit, he insisted on them. At the same time, he strongly supported reservation in public services and education so that Dalits and other disadvantaged groups could enter the administration elite and reshape priorities from within. This is not merely about representation, it is about transforming the culture and functioning of bureaucracy so that it carries the lived experience of the marginalized into policy making. We taught policy making, policy implementation, evaluation, feedback. For all of us, this means we study civil services, local governance, social welfare schemes and public policy. We must ask whose interests are really being served. This is the question I really ask myself to and others also, whose interests are really being served in our society. Are these institutions maintaining the status quo? Are they genuinely working to reduce inequality? Ambedkar reminds us that the bureaucracy is not neutral machine. It is a site of power, and that power must be guided by the constitutional values he helped enshrine in our constitution. So in context to Mizoram, this reflection becomes even more important. Mizoram has a strong tradition of participatory decision making and local self-governance, whether in village council or student unions. Ambedkar's stress on decentralization and local self-government resonates with his spirit. He was critical of that centralized colonial style administration, and he dreamed of a system where people at the grassroots could participate meaningfully in decisions and that affect their lives. For us, this means connecting his ideas with questions of tribal rights, land, culture and local autonomy, and asking how our administrative structure can become more responsive to these realities. So as a teacher, I would urge our students and scholars to see Dr. Ambedkar not as a historical figure but as a living intellectual resource for our all the subjects of social sciences and public administration discipline. When we read about civil services reforms, affirmative action, social audit, public accountability or participatory governance, remember that each of these areas carries the burden of his dream, a state that treats every citizen with dignity regardless of caste, gender, religion or region. Public administration in his vision is not just about managing offices, it is about managing justice. Let's work for an administration that is not only efficient and accountable, but also fiercely committed to social justice. In conclusion, public administration is not an end in itself. It is a means to build a more just, dignified, and inclusive society. Thank you and happy Ambedkar Jayanti to all of you. Now,